The Truth Shall Set You Free, Volume 1. The Right Excellent Norman Washington Manley, founding leader of the People's National Party, PNP, the man with the plan, the father of the nation. At universal adult suffrage, the Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, governed Jamaica for 21 of the first 28 years, 1944 to 1955, and 1962 to 1972, while the PNP spent a measly 7 of those years, 1955 to 1962, serving as government. Mr. Manley single-handedly laid the foundation for the building of a modern Jamaica, while on the contrary the JLP led by the charismatic Sir William Alexander Clark Bustamante, a professed colonialist whom had publicly pledged allegiance to the British monarch at the time King George, did close to a quarter of a century masquerading as government of Jamaica but got precious little done as it relates to the independent process. Bustamante JLP regimes are known for the infamous stolen school program funds between 1967 and 1971. This results in no school being built and the lingering shift system in schools up to this day. Is it any wonder why the party's support base consists mainly of illiterate, uneducated Jamaicans, whom knows nothing about patriotism or the future, but cares only about a present belly full. Anyway, this documentary is about Norman Washington Manley. He did a whole lot for the development of Jamaica, so much so that he did not have to claim other people's achievements as his own. Hail the man! Cometh the man, cometh the hour. The Right Excellent Norman Washington Manley, Party President 1938 to 1969. Chief Minister 1955 to 1959, Premier 1959 to 1962 and National Hero. Norman Manley and the PNP were the architects of the 1944 Constitution that brought universal adult suffrage, giving every adult in Jamaica the right to vote. At the birth of the People's National Party in 1938, the founding president, Norman Washington Manley declared, "The People's National Party is called the People's Party because it will unswervingly aim at all those measures which serve the masses of the country. It is called national because it is pledged to the development of the national spirit." Under the leadership of the past 4 party presidents, the PNP has carried out policies and programs consistent with this commitment. Norman Manley and the PNP were the architects of the 1944 Constitution that brought universal adult suffrage, giving every adult in Jamaica the right to vote. In 1949, the PNP launched the Plan for Progress, which became the blueprint for Jamaica's economic development, making us one of the leading developing nations in the world. Norman Manley and the PNP in 1953 introduced the ministerial system of government in Jamaica, which led the way for constitutional advancement. It was the advocacy of the PNP in 1959 which led to Jamaica achieving internal self-government. Norman Manley and the PNP demanded and negotiated Jamaica's independence. For 7.5 years, 1955 to 1962, Norman Manley and the PNP shepherded an unprecedented expansion of the Jamaican economy. The annual growth rate during that administration was some 6%, and in the fiscal year 1956/57, the economy grew by 14.1%, establishing a record that is not matched by any administration since then. In 1955, the establishment of the Central Planning Unit, now Planning Institute of Jamaica, marked the beginning of planned economic and social development in Jamaica. The 1957 PNP administration introduced Jamaica's first 10-year development plan. The Beach Control Law of 1955 gave all Jamaicans right of access to our beaches. The Norman Washington Manley administration introduced the Watershed Protection Act to preserve the environment and protect our water resources. The Scientific Research Council, SRC, was established. The 1956 Industrial Incentives Law facilitated growth of the manufacturing sector. A Small Business Loan Board was established to promote small business development. The Bank of Jamaica Act was passed in 1960 and the bank began operation in 1961. The Export Industries Encouragement Law 1956 provided additional incentives for exports. The Facilities for Titles Law introduced in 1955 made it possible for thousands of small farmers to obtain land titles without going through the traditional expensive and laborious application process. The Land Bonds Law 1955 allowed the start of land reform in Jamaica by granting the government access to idle lands in exchange for bonds. During the Norman Manley administration, tourism experienced its first golden age with the establishment of the Jamaica Tourist Board, the expansion of both major airports and the opening and development of Negril as tourist resort town. A new agreement negotiated with bauxite companies increased the royalties they paid Jamaica by 400%, thereby boosting the country's revenue. The Norman Manley administration introduced the Common Entrance Examination in 1957 because of their deep concern that a large number of children of poor parents, who were unable to pay fees, should be afforded the opportunity of a grammar school education with the fees being paid by government. Initially, 2,000 students annually were given fully paid access to high schools, increasing enrollment from 11,600 in 1957 to 19,236 in 1962. The 1957 educational reforms also included the establishment of the College of Arts, Science, and Technology, CAST, now the University of Technology, UTech. Kingston Technical School and the practical training centers at Dint Hill and Holmwood were converted to technical high schools to feed into CAST. The Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation, JBC, was established in 1959. Establishment of Government Broadcasting Service, which created a Government Information Service, now the Jamaica Information Service, JIS, as well as a Schools Broadcasting Service which broadcast the school curriculum via radio. Work on the National Stadium started in 1955 and was completed for the independence celebrations in August, 1962. In 1959, when the PNP celebrated its 21st anniversary, Norman Manley could justifiably claim, "It is our party that built the national movement, that took Jamaica out of the colonial matrix, that redeemed the soul of our people from the dead hand of our bondage, that liberated the energy and the will and the spirit that has swept us forward and onward and upward for the last 20 years. Under the Norman Manley-led PNP administration, Jamaica and India became the first two countries in the British Empire to cut trade links with racist apartheid regime in South Africa. In summary, the Norman Manley administration created institutions on which modern Jamaica has been built, and in the process, made Jamaica a leader in the developing world. Hail the man! More legacies. Started the Social Development Commission, 1937. Co-founded the People's National Party, 1938. Fought for and achieved for Jamaica universal adult suffrage, 1944. The Planning Institute of Jamaica, 1955. The Government Public Relations Office, Jamaica Information Service, 1956. Launched Common Entrance Examination, 1957. Integrated Jamaica into the West Indies Federation, 1958. 2000 Free High School Scholarship, 1958 to 1962. Fought for and achieved for Jamaica full self-rule, 1958. Launched Jamaica's City Bank, 1959. First Premier of Jamaica, 1959 to 1962. Started vocational training in Jamaica, 1959. The Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation, 1959. The Right Excellent George William Gordon House, Parliament, 1960. Launched National Labor Day, 1960. Bank of Jamaica, 1961. National Stadium, January 1961. Chaired the Jamaica Constitution Joint Select Committee, 1961. Fought for and achieved Jamaica's independence, February 1962. The establishment of the Central Planning Unit, CPU, in 1955 was the product of a strong conviction on the part of the political party which came to power at that time, the People's National Party, and in particular of its leader, the Honourable Norman Manley, that planning was an essential requirement for successful economic and social development. The concept of planning by the state has been for a long time the subject of deep differences, in large part on ideological and political grounds. It has been seen by some as an instrument closely associated with the communist regime in the Soviet Union, whose 5-year plans used to be much publicized. It has been associated with the issue of the role of the state in development, a matter which is still debated in Jamaica. No one today, however, seriously questions the role of planning as a part of the management function, whether in the state system as a whole, in individual government agencies, in the private sector, or in other non-governmental spheres. What remains at issue is the nature and scope of the planning process in each case, and the question who participates. It is useful to take a look at the situation in Jamaica as it was in the mid-1950s. This was some 7 years before the country achieved independence, and some time after the establishment of a ministerial system, although this process was not yet complete. There were, for example, colonial officials in the Executive Council, which eventually gave way to the cabinet. Jamaica had experienced just about 10 years of representative government with the introduction of universal adult suffrage in 1944. But Jamaica was still a British colony. A new government was in place, drawn from a political party which had for 17 years expressed its ideologies and its views concerning governance and development and had for 10 years been the opposition party in Jamaica's parliament. Some high schools, colleges, and universities that were built or upgraded during Norman Manley's short time in office. Frome Senior Secondary School, 1957, converted to Frome Technical High School in 2000. Camperdown High School -1958. Glenmuir High School, 1958. Meadowbrook High School, March 13, 1958. Vauxhall High School, January 1, 1959. Campion College, 1960. Port Antonio High School, 1960. St. Mary High School, 1960. Vere Technical High School, September 1960. Christiana High School, 1961. Montego Bay Comprehensive High, 1961, later upgraded to St. James High School in 2000. Morant Bay High School, 1961. St. Andrew Technical High School, 1961. St. Elizabeth Technical High School, 1961. Tarrant Comprehensive High School, 1961. William Knibb Memorial High School, 1961. Bishop Gibson High School for Girls, January 1962. The following schools need further research. St. Iago High School, upgraded to present form, 1956. Kingston Technical High School, upgraded to present form, 1959. Homewood Technical High School, upgraded to present form, 1960. Dint Hill Technical High School, upgraded to present form, 1961. Colleges and universities. Munnig College, 1956. University of Technology, UTech, formerly College of Art, Science and Technology, CAST. The Jamaica Institute of Technology, 1958. CAST, 1959. College of Art, Science and Technology, CAST, 1957. A nation without a vision will surely perish. If you know not where you coming from, it stands to reason that you won't know where you are going, or where you intend to go. His work is another testimony that the Jamaican electorates made serious errors at universal adult suffrage and again at independence when they voted for the Jamaica Labour Party. For videos, visit and subscribe to the TikTok Shimmer_L_Sharma, Facebook, Instagram and YouTube channels of the One Jack Ulrich Horner. Capitalist show a posse fake prosperity keep standing in the way of Jamaica and progress. The views expressed in this article are solely those of yours truly and not those of the People's National Party.